So I'm glad you could come along today and see if we can do something useful for you.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I like to learn, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it tweaked my interest.
Oh, good. And Mark mentioned that we're wanting to make a video of this for future teaching purposes.
Yep, that's fine.
Some people are interested to learn about how to use hypnosis in their practice and learn about it. And so I'm going to do, of course, what I can to make it useful for you.
Okay.
But at the same time, that's why we're having the recording, so that it can be useful for other people as well as you.
That's fine.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's okay.
So, Rachel, I've met you before, can you just tell me a little about you? Like, what sorts of things do you like to do? What sorts of things are pleasing to you, enjoyable to you, fun for you?
I think I like to take time out from life. I run a small business and have 3 children, so...
Oh, you need time out.
Yeah. So I find
how small are the children?
6, 16 and 3. I just turned 4 yesterday.
6?
4, 6 and 16, yeah.
4, 6 and 16. Okay.
Yeah. So there's...
Yes.
I'm managing all of those age ranges.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, I feel tired just thinking about that. And you're running a business
yes.
as well, so?
Yeah.
What sort of
I work
business?
as a mortgage broker.
Okay.
So I go out most of the time at night to meet clients, and then it's good because it has flexibility with its hours.
Yes.
So what I do try and do is exercise. I've got a dog, so we do a lot of walking up a mountain.
What sort of dog do you have?
It's a pound puppy, but it's a Ridgeback Bull Mastiff cross. She's
Ridgeback?
10.
Ridgeback?
Bull Mastiff.
Oh my goodness.
But she's a really, really gentle giant. And because she's older, she's just a wise old soul.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So I do that. Like to read and listen to music. I think they'd probably be...
Read? What sort of reading?
Murder mysteries.
Yeah.
Escapism.
So that'd be a little bit like mortgage broking, I imagine. There's sort of a mystery there about
yes, that's right.
And maybe find the criminal and find
exactly right.
You're the detective there too.
I think you need to have insight and you need to be able to read what you don't necessarily hear. Yeah. So,
Don't know whether you know that film, The Bone Collector? You know, I'll be with you every step of the way.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I like that I have sort of an 8-week relationship with most people.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll come back 3 or 4 years later when they refinance.
So you've kind of got not like a crime scene quite, but there's something there that needs some sorting, and then you do that over 8 weeks, and then
and a lot of the time, because I have to paint the story for the bank of a client, especially if they're new, there is a bit of investigation. You need to look at, have they disclosed everything to me? And usually that's through their transactional histories.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So you looking for evidence there.
Occasionally.
Yeah. If necessary. Okay.
Yeah.
And music? What sort of music do you?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. 60s, 70s, jazz. Everything. Yeah. It's just good. I think it's food for the soul.
Yes. And that's part of what you're saying about escaping, or taking some time out, I think you said. Is that right? Not escaping, time out.
Yeah. No phone.
Yeah. And that's... Yes, phones are not necessarily good for the soul.
No.
They might be good for the bank
the pocket,
balance,
that's right.
For the soul. Yeah, walking in the hills with your dog is...
I think that's it. Yeah. That's my thing.
And Mark did say something, I think, about what you wanted to have happen here, but I'm blessed with a bad memory, so just assume I know nothing, and you'd be pretty close to the...
Sure.
What would you like to have happen here if we could do something?
Yeah, I think I've done a fair bit of hypnosis with Mark, and most of the time I've had really positive outcomes, and the way I describe it is you spend your whole life running, and what it allows me to do is the same thing as I would normally do when it comes to running those head miles and thinking, but you sort of slow down, stop and look at things that you hadn't noticed before in a different way. And I tried in one session to tackle something too big, and that was to look too far ahead, because I'm in a position where I want to be able to be independent. I'm separated but living in the same house. So I had always thought, oh, I'll need to find another partner to help support me, and then I'll be able to sort of, I don't know, shed the old skin and start again. But I'd come to a point when we'd looked too far into the future, I'd actually felt quite panicked because I couldn't picture it.
Yes.
And then when I'd broken it down and we did another session and we were able to break it down into smaller pieces, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and then come back out, talk about it, go further ahead, then I was able to create a plan, understand the things that were blocking it, and come up with solutions that I had not considered. And that was really positive. But one of the things that I wanted to try and tackle was the ability to feel okay as an independent thing, not to feel, and we all come into this, thinking, oh, you've got to have the perfect relationship, the perfect family, all that nuclear stuff. And my mum has been married 3 times, and she's always sort of walked from one place to another. And that was what I'd been brought up to believe was how you, I don't know, especially with a family. Once I had those children, I felt I needed someone else there. So being able to know that I can live independent of having to have someone else there, then that would be a blessing if it were to occur, but that I would be okay, that I would be able to manage. That's what I'd like to have more confidence around, because I'm still uncertain about that. I think I stay where I am because I'm not 100% sure that I'm strong enough to not. Yeah.
Very understandable.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's just you. But you've got a 16-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a dog.
Yeah. She's the only redeeming feature, I think. Yeah.
What's her name?
Zah. Yeah.
And you said she's not young, she's not a pup?
No, she is when you first sort of pull the lead out of the jar, yes. But no, she's not. She's 10.
Yeah, we've got one of those. We've got a Labradoodle.
Oh, they're supposed to be really good.
She's 3, going on 6 months. But she's, but also she's a lot more settled. But bring out the lead and she's...
Yeah, they're like little babies again. Yeah, it's really cute.
Little kids, yeah. Okay, so this idea of being able to be okay, independent of a partner, and to be able to be like that and support your 3 kids, and your dog, and your lifestyle, and your work, and this. I mean, that's actually not like a trivial thing, is it? It's just not like finding a glass of water or something. That's some substance there. Yeah. And I can also imagine that when you first look at that, it can seem like, whoa.
Yes. Yeah.
It's almost
paralysing. Seems okay to. It's like when people go, I can't sell my house until I've got another one that I want to buy. It's like, I can't leave that until I've got something else to move into, and I don't want to do that. I don't want it to be that a relationship is premeditated. No. Or so I wanted to be able to walk away from that safely.
Yes. Well, that's an interesting idea of safely, because I mean, you know way more about this than me, but you can put in a good application to the bank and you can't guarantee that it'll be accepted.
No.
So there are no guarantees, but there's always, whenever you make a change, there's always a risk. Yeah. But I guess, is the risk manageable?
Yes. That's what I need to know.
Is it not too large a risk?
Yes.
Not too... And anything more you might want to say before you go?
No, I think that's sort of... I think I'm good at sort of looking at what happens as a result and how I walk inside my head. Yeah. So,
That's great. Thank you for making my job so easy.
That's okay. No, it's just nice to have a bit of control over the process.
I think so. And sometimes, I imagine it in your work, sometimes when you are going through something, some process with someone, they might say, oh, that's kind of obvious, but I hadn't thought of it. Yeah. And sometimes our conversations are just like that. It's like not highly complicated, but just an opportunity to, like you
slow
said,
it down.
Slow down.
Yeah.
So you have a chance to see what's there.
Yeah.
That you
I
don't
had
see when you rush it.
That's right. Yeah.
We were having a cup of coffee before, and I got excited about something and waving the thing and spilt some coffee. And I'm looking, where's the tissue? Where's the tissue? I was looking so frantically.
Yeah.
It was just there,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. Yeah.
Maybe in the session, you might be able to help me with my...
To find the tissue.
Just to slow down and see what's...
Okay.
Because I think this is a human transition. It's human activity. This is what we do. All right. So, do you have any particular way that you like to go into the process?
No, I don't find it that hard.
No, I can see that.
I'll just
You're very able, and it's very apparent to me. Even though I haven't met you before, it's very apparent that you have that capacity to really focus, to really get into something.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a mixed blessing.
Yes.
Because it depends what you get into.
That's right. It's the Midas
If you get into panic,
that's right.
Then well, look out.
Absolutely.
So it's a skill.
Or obsessive compulsion.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of where you direct it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a matter of how you...
I need more training on that one too.
Well,
another time in another place.
Well, I don't know. I think it might be very much exactly what's happening here. And once you've learned that, you may be able to apply that in any other time.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess in that way it might be useful for you since it's so easy for you, to find a way of taking the process slowly. That's it. It'd probably be very easy for you to just close your eyes and get lost in something. But for this experience, to intentionally, that's it, just take it slowly. And already as all those changes are starting to, you perhaps notice how easy it would be for you to close your eyes, but just take it slowly, just kind of ease back on it, there's no panic about this, just take it, that's right. And even though you could, just allow all those changes. There's the stillness in your body. That's it. Changing your breathing. That's right. Your eyes are closed. And you can let your mind drift slowly and easily. And in this experience, provide an opportunity for yourself. And to take some time out to feed your soul. And by intentionally allowing yourself slowly, little by little, to just settle into your experience. It may be a little bit like taking your dog for a walk. Zana. It might be when you first start, you take out the lead, there may be some kind of wanting to rush things, like I'm sure that she does. She?
Yes.
But then, even if there is that initial kind of rush, which might even look like a panic to someone, so just imagine that you're going to take yourself for a walk. You can take the lead. You can go for a walk. Zara might be there with you. There might be others. But in particular, I think it'd be useful if you could know that you are taking you for a walk. When you said you walk in the mountains. And as you are doing that, I wonder if it would be okay for you to walk more slowly than you normally do. Maybe even stop and look around. Don't know whether you would normally do that. So I would probably be more interested in going on than stopping and looking around. But just for this experience, I wonder, as you're walking, if you were to slow down or actually stop and look around, I wonder what you might see. Notice. Can you imagine? What are you seeing at the moment?
There's a lizard. And it's on the road and I have to hold her so she doesn't go near it.
Yeah, you have to hold her so she doesn't go near it.
Mm. And it's really green.
Really green. And tell me about the green. Is it a bright green, or a dark green, or yellowy green?
No, it's Australia green. It's not.
Sort of blue green.
Yeah. And you can smell the gum trees.
Ah, tell me about that. What's that smell?
It's that damp eucalyptus.
Yeah. And would it be okay to just sit with that for a moment and really let yourself absorb the dampness, the eucalyptusness, that particular greenness? And is Zara on the lead still?
No.
Okay. So you have to keep an eye out for that road. So you want to be independent of Zara and let her to be independent of you. At the same time, you need to keep an eye out for her. Because she's a dog. And at the same time, you want to allow yourself to smell that damp eucalyptus smell, to see that green. And you notice how you can be really aware of the greenness and the eucalyptus smell and the dampness. And you can, out of the corner of your awareness, you can notice where Zara is. And if she looks like she's going to get too close to the road, you can forget about the trees for the moment and you can pay attention to her. And then at other times, you can just be aware of her out of the peripheral awareness and really see the green and smell the smell. And I'm inviting you to play with that, to see how you can just let your attention kind of flow. You don't have to just notice her. You don't have to just notice what's there. But you can let your attention, how can I say, drift or meander from one to the other, and you know exactly how much and where and how. And as you're doing that, again, I would invite you to take your time to notice how it is for you to be able to let your attention go to where it needs to go and not stay fixed on something.
Not to run fast.
Yeah. Well, it might be nice. Do you want to go for a run? Okay. It's nice to know you can do that too. But my invitation is, as you go for a run, to somehow notice that as you're running, you can pay attention to the ground and make the adjustments with your feet so you don't trip over. And I'm wondering how, as you're doing that, you could also let yourself be just that little bit more aware of your surroundings. To have that double take, do you know what I mean? It may be something like when you're working with a client, you have to take a double take about wanting to do what's right for them and what's right for the bank. It's not just one or the other, you have to kind of balance that. A lot of kids, when they first learn to run, are so busy focusing on where they're going that they trip over. And there are other kids that are so attentive to where they put their feet that they don't even go anywhere. And I don't know whether your kids are all the same, are they all runners and trippers, or do they all go slow and then...
It's one slow one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, one of my kids started to walk before she could almost do anything else and was covered in bruises. The next one, I thought he was never going to walk because he just sat there and then one day he just stood up and walked. So people will learn their different ways, but with you, it's easy for you to kind of rush and run. And having that balance now that you may not always have had, to be able to run and take care of your feet so you don't trip, and look around, not only to take care of Zara, not only that, but including that, but also, I'm wondering as you're running, if you can, again, start to notice something about the surroundings. Almost as if, no matter how fast you're actually going, you could feel as if you're going really quite slowly. You know what I mean? So no matter how fast you are running, have your attention wherever it needs to be. And again, I've got this question, what are you starting to notice? Perhaps more intensely or more strongly than you might normally when you're running.
There's a lot of kangaroos. It gets windy when you get to the top.
Windy, yeah. And how is that for you? Is that?
Oh, it's good because I'm really puffed and hot.
Okay, so if you could notice, you're at the top and you're puffed and you're hot and it's windy. And what do you start to notice as you look around? You can feel that you're puffed, that you're hot, you can feel the wind. What do you start to see?
It's just so still.
Huh. And there's something about that stillness.
Yeah.
Something about that stillness. Of course, we know that it's not really still. There's a lot of activity there, but you can have the feeling that it is still. And is it that stillness that is part of what feeds your soul?
It's pushing myself past where I want to be.
Yes.
To get there.
Yes, and you've done that.
And it feels good to do it.
Yes. And as you're pushing yourself to get through that, to get to where you got, and you know it's going to feel good, how do you keep going? Because there must be a feeling like, if you're anything like me, I could stop now.
Because I know how good it feels to be at the top and know what it feels like when I get there. The first time was terrible.
Well, so you had to kind of learn that. What you might say, you had to train yourself to get through that. Because the first time was terrible. And then you kind of broke through the terrible and you knew how good it felt.
Yeah.
Once you'd broken through that, got through that, you're at the top. And you take a breath. It's like, it feels that good. Almost, if I'm hearing you right, there's almost some satisfaction that it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
That you had to get through. There was a challenge there in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my word. But somehow, and now, when you're running up there,
it still hurts, but
yes.
I know it's going to be really good when I get
there. Okay. And I'd like you to pay attention to that experience that you were speaking about in your running and really notice how that feels for you. I can't know how it feels for me, and that doesn't matter, but you know how that feels for you. So just as you were able to stop before and really smell the eucalyptus and the dampness and see the green, would it be okay as you look at the stillness of what's around you if you could really allow this feeling almost to be instilled in you, almost as if your body could learn it, as if you could have that feeling. Ah, it feels so good. And while you are just letting yourself soak that up, it's almost like you could be up on the top there and the wind could be blowing. You don't need to do anything. The wind cools you. The satisfaction satisfies you, nurtures you, nourishes your soul. And that can happen. And just as what's happening for you now is happening, I can talk about some things, but you don't need to pay attention. Some things that I say that might be useful to you. If there's any that doesn't make sense, just let them drift on past like the wind that goes past you. Because I want to remind you that when you first started to do that work with mortgages, that it may have taken a little while to learn how to do that. It may have been hard or difficult. And I don't know if at some stage you may have even felt like, I don't know that I want to continue with this. But somehow you got through that difficulty. And even though there's no guarantee of a good result, somehow the satisfaction at the end of that 8 weeks, and maybe even to see someone in their home or know that they're in their home, the satisfaction that makes all of that hard work worthwhile. And also, then as you learn that with that person, the next person, the next client, is that much easier. And the next one is that much easier. Maybe a little bit like when you first met Zara from the pound. It may not have been easy. However beautiful she may have been, it may have been you had to get through something. Was she frightened when you first met her?
Very little.
Very little. Mm. And were there some difficulties early on, getting a house trained? Yeah. Yeah, I remember an experience when one of our dogs, my toes have a good memory of that. But you get through that.
And your nose.
Yeah, yes. You get through that, and now you know it was worthwhile, and you look back and think, I would say that it would have been terrible if you had not gone through what you went through so that she could become how she is. And if you'll allow me, I can say that it would have been terrible if you hadn't persevered and gone through what you went through with learning the mortgage work that you do. Because you've got the satisfaction there, you've got the flexibility of that, you've got all the benefits of that. And it would have been terrible if you hadn't persevered and gone through that. And it was hard. It was a challenge. It could have even been exhausting at times. And what I'm wanting to suggest to you is that what you're wanting to make in a move in your life is actually just, and I don't want to say this in a demeaning way, but it's just like, I don't want to make little of it, it's just like one more mortgage application. Finding a way, financing a house, finding a way of emotionally financing your soul, your life. It's not easy. And I think it might be nice if you could look at that, and I'm not asking you to believe me, but from my perspective, that's what I'm saying. Now, how you do that, this is just like running up this hill. It's just one more hill. Now, you don't have to run up it all at once. It might be overwhelming, and particularly the first time.
I don't want to have a second.
You don't have a second. Well, got to have a first. And I don't know that you can guarantee, but if you say, okay, you know what, a second, you want to get it right the first time. If you look at the first time you ran up that hill, what did you do or what could you have done so that you knew that you wouldn't have to have a second one? What would be helpful?
I don't know.
It's the same thing as trainings are. How did you train her?
Just patience.
Yes. Patience. So it can take time. And you found that in your work with Mark, that if you go too fast, that just trips you up. Just going slowly. Even though I think you are an impatient person, you like to get things done yesterday. There are some things. I planted some seeds, some Tasmanian blue gum seeds, about 6 weeks ago, and watered them. I call them my babies. Every morning I go out and look. Every evening, look, nothing. Next morning, nothing. And then one morning I went out and there was this little green thing that popped up. I went, whoa, that's the first baby. I've planted 25 seeds. I've got 18 little plants now. They're about 2 or 3 inches high. I've planted out some of them into larger pots. Looking forward to planting them in the ground in a little forest. And in a few years they're going to be metres high. But if I get one of those seeds that have just popped up and try and pull it and make it tall, that's not necessarily going to help. So you're right, it does take time. We do need to be patient. And there are some things that you can hurry. And there are some things that you can only experience by taking them really, really slowly. Now, I don't know you, I've never met you before, but my very strong sense is that you have already begun this process. Yeah. You've already taken more than a few baby steps along that road. You're already on the path, you're already on that track that's going to take you to the top of the hill. And as you go up that hill, some of it is going to be tough. You're going to get puffed out. You're going to get hot. But when you get to the top and you see that stillness and you feel that wind and you have that satisfaction, was it worth it? Yeah, it was. There may have been some times on the way up where you wondered, is it worth it? But you're a pretty persistent woman, I think. Once you make up your mind to do something, I feel sorry for anyone or anything that gets in the way. And that's probably the reason that you are just holding back a little. Because once you know you are going to make that move, there'll be no stopping you. Does that make sense for me to say that?
Yeah.
So I think it's really nice that you're holding back from letting yourself know that you are going to do that you have everything to do that. You're holding back from letting yourself know, because once you know, there'll be no stopping you. I'm sorry for that hill. You're going to be on that top of that hill, and you're going to get that satisfaction. And I don't know just how close you are to letting yourself know that you have already begun that process. It's very apparent to me, looking on as a stranger, that you've started. And as soon as you are ready to really push to the top of that, then, and only then, you'll be ready to let yourself know that you're on a trail. Now, I want to be very clear, Rachel, that I'm saying some things to you that I cannot know what's best to say, what's best that you need to hear. I'm only offering some ideas. I'm being like an independence broker, offering some options here. Know that you can find your own way of. And I'm wondering, when you spoke about music, different pieces of music have different moods. Some music, when you listen to, you just feel like sitting down and doing nothing. You put other music on and you just have to get up and dance. So what sort of music is going to get you to the top of this mountain? What sort of music has the mood that's going to get you to dare to realise your capacity to be independent? What kind of music is going to support that?
Maybe some Nigerians.
Okay. You're not sure? Is there any particular song and track that comes from that would be particularly useful?
No, she sings Sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
She sings a song called Sunlight.
Sunlight. Okay. You don't have to sing that song to me, and you wouldn't want me to sing it to you. But if you can notice the mood of that, maybe listen to it in your head. Okay, and as you breathe, it can be almost like you can breathe the mood of that music, breathe it into you. Not only into your body, but actually breathe it into your soul. Really feel that. Are you feeling that feeling? And even though the music has a rhythm, it moves through that, there's a kind of a stillness that can stay with you. If you listen to that music, let your soul listen to it. And I wonder what Zoe would say about that. Because she's a wise soul. If you were to ask her, so what do you think would be helpful for me in this situation? What do you think she'd tell you?
Exercise.
Huh?
Exercise.
So what kind of exercise is going to help you to have the satisfaction?
I just think any exercise.
Oh, okay. Now you're already getting some exercise. You're already... You're frowning at the moment? Is there something that's...
I've started Zumba classes and I can't do it.
Oh my God, Zumba, you are a very brave woman.
It's so cool, isn't it?
Oh. But you were frowning about that? Is that hard work? Or?
Yes, it's fun.
Ah, so here's the same question. It's hard work. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was easy?
It wouldn't be as much fun.
It wouldn't be much fun for you. No pain, no gain.
No.
You've got to make something just a little bit difficult. Otherwise, what's the point? And so being independent and discovering your capacity to be independent, you have to make it a little bit difficult. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. I think you're succeeding at that quite well. if getting a mortgage was really easy, you'd have no job. There has to be a little bit of difficulty. Hey?
I'd be rich.
You'd be rich. Yeah, but I think you'd be looking for another job. So you've got to have just a right amount of difficulty to keep you entertained and turned on. Yeah. And so discovering your capacity to be, letting yourself know that you can be independent. You can do that. It has to be a little bit difficult. And I can imagine it might be a bit of relief for you to see that you're producing just about the right amount of difficulty to make it a challenge for you. Otherwise, who would be bothered? Well, you wouldn't be bothered. What do you feel when I say that kind of thing? Because I'm saying it, I'm kind of making fun of you in a way, but I hope you can hear that I'm actually respecting what you do. I'm not making a joke at your expense. I hope you can hear that.
Yeah. I just worry about the kids.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you worry about kids. You're a mother. Mothers worry about kids. That's part of your job specification. You introduce me to a mother who doesn't worry about their kids, and I'll say, nah, she's not the mother. Yeah. And you have to have just the right amount of worry. You don't want to be a mother who never worries. They'll be irresponsible because you love them. How do you have the right amount of worry?
I just feel it's selfish.
Selfish?
They're happy when there's two of us. But I'm not happy.
No. I think it'd be selfish if you stayed for that reason. The kind thing to do for your kids is to make sure that you're happy, so that then when you're happy, they can be happy. It's the same thing with training Zara. You know, if you're in a bad mood, you can't get anything done. If you're miserable and you're unhappy, you can't train her. She can't be happy. So your first duty as a mother to your kids is to make sure that you're happy. Make sure that it's just the right amount. If there's too much struggle, and they say, oh, that's what Mum was telling me, oh, life has to be really agonising, and you just have to put up with torture to get through it. I don't know that that's what you want for your kids. And so, helping them because you love them, by showing them because you want the best for them, that of course you want to look after them, but you need to look after you as well. When you're running with Zara, and she's near that road, you have to look after her. But if you go chasing her to keep her away from the road, that's not going to help. Do you find that sometimes if you run ahead, she follows you?
Yeah.
But if you just got so worried about her, you thought, oh, I don't want to be selfish and have a good run, I need to be worried about her all the time, you'll probably end up putting her in the middle of the road. If she's anything like our dog. So somehow taking the lead yourself, getting out in front, showing them, let them follow you. Let's have this challenge. Let's get the satisfaction of doing this. And then Zara can follow you on the run. And your kids can learn from you and follow you into knowing how much effort to make and that it's okay to look after themselves. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Do you think I'm distorting it? I think that's a very important thing for kids to learn.
If it was one of my kids doing what I'm doing, I'd smack them.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't want them to be so unhappy. You know, I'd just try and shake them and say, stop it. It's not about the grandkids, or it's not about that. You've got to be happy. But I don't, I would always want them to be happy, but I just don't think it's fair for them to suffer, for me to have that.
So should I smack you or shake you?
Don't know if it would work.
I think you don't have to smack yourself. You don't really have to shake yourself. But in a way...
Metaphorically.
Yes, maybe in this experience you can shake yourself. Just enough to shake off that...
Guilt.
Yeah. Because you can be happy, and that can help to take care of them by being happy. It's the biggest gift that you can give them. Look after them from a position of happiness. You don't want them growing up thinking, oh, life is supposed to be miserable. It's not a nice gift. Now, you can say that. I can support you in that as an idea. What happens if you sit with that, like you can sit with the smell of the eucalyptus and the dampness and the greenness and the windiness, and really let yourself feel that you have a right, even a duty to that. To not only not be miserable, but to actually take care of your own happiness. As you sit with that, and let yourself breathe that. Really breathe it in. Into your soul. Just let it be there still. So that you can really know. And there may even be times where it can be difficult to let go. You might have to push through that. And how are you feeling at the moment, Rachel?
Yeah.
And is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you notice that you can feel better and it's okay for you, and it is actually better and okay for your kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. And it was hard for you to get to that because you care about them. You want the best for them. And you're feeling guilty. But from my perspective, that guilt is just selfish. It's about you. You want to do the right thing by them. And just getting held back by your own guilt. When you can leave the guilt and the misery behind and push through and get to that feeling of happiness and achievement, well, you can share that with them. And you're looking a little serious at the moment. Like there's something heavy going on. What's happening? I can't know, but I'm just wondering.
I think it starts to be real.
Yes.
And I'm glad, but
Yes.
it's still scary.
Yes. You start running up that hill. And somewhere along that hill, it's going to be, yeah, you know that feeling.
Yeah.
And if there was just a little bit of scariness, there wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
buzz and the relief at the end of it, the achievement. You've got to have the right amount. Just enough to make it so you get the buzz, but not so much that you get paralysed.
Yeah.
Like getting the right interest rate.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Mm.
No one's ever happy with that.
Yeah, of course. No, everyone wants an interest rate of 0.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, well, of course. But like it happen. But we've got to get the right interest.
Mm.
You don't want 90%, no one wants that. No one 50%, no. 20%. No. So it's the same with the scariness.
Mm.
And it is real. No one wants the interest rate, but it's real. No one wants the scariness, but it's real. And you can manage a bit of scary. Done it before. Lots of times. And there'll be other things in the future too, by the way. One of my friends says that when you've got a problem, it's the same damn thing over and over again. When you get out of that and you get into solutions, it's one damn thing after another. And there's always another. You solve one mortgage problem, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty more where that comes from. And the important thing is not that it can be easy. The important thing is for you to really know, and really know, that no matter what, you can get through it. And you will. You're a very resourceful woman. Very. Yeah. And you can make that effort and get through difficulties and scary things because you know you get that satisfaction. So it sounds like you're on the road. Yeah. And like I said, God help anyone who tries to get in your way now.
It's not that bad.
What?
It's not that bad.
Not that bad, but I think once you're pretty determined. I think other people should start to get scared if they get in your way now. What's different now than when we started?
I think not having the same burden.
Yeah.
It sits there.
Oh,
But it's okay.
yeah.
I want them to see me smile.
Okay.
They don't see that. Except when I'm with them, then I do. But they don't see me happy.
So will they be able to cope?
Yeah,
When they see mum's happy, will they be all right? Will they need therapy?
No.
They'll be able to make that adjustment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They may even feel a bit of the same relief that you feel.
Yeah. It's just different. Doesn't mean it's bad.
No. So that burden is still there, but it's less.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, maybe further behind you. Or,
Yeah.
that's right. We can carry that.
Yeah.
You can manage that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you were to somehow take an inventory of where you are now, what, if anything, is still missing for you so that you can go out and get on what you're going to do? You know how like a mortgage or application checklist,
yeah.
you go through and if you missed anything?
I think I know I can do it because I am stubborn.
Yes. Yeah.
But part of me still has no confidence in the outcome. In that I'll do it and it will be the right thing to do. I still worry about that outcome, the end picture.
Yeah. Well, you can't be certain.
I know.
When you picked up Zara from the pound, you hoped, but you couldn't be certain.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So this is like really the same. I'll say it in here. It's like picking you out of the pound.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not out of the pound, but
yeah.
it's the same kind of like the new you.
Yeah.
You feel like a puppy. In that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you did it with Zara.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did it with your 16-year-old.
Yeah. I'm getting there. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. An American family therapist said he wouldn't part with any of his kids for $1 million, but he wouldn't pay 10 cents for another one. So you did that with your 16-year-old.
Yeah, he's good.
And you got a 6-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a 4-year-old.
Yeah. She's good.
Yeah. But still, there's still going to be some.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Are you up to it?
Yeah.
Yes. You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
You're up to it. And you're up to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want the crystal ball.
Yeah. It is. And when you look at it and you see that,
Yeah.
what do you see? Do you see the past? Do you see the future? Do you see the present? Do you see the way that can move through that? What do you see when you look at the crystal ball?
I think that I will be a better person, and sometimes I feel like that, I know it sounds silly, but that ugly caterpillar, and I want to become the butterfly, but it seems like trying to crack out of it's hard.
It is.
I can see that it will happen, I just don't want to hurt anyone to get there. Yeah.
But if you don't get out of it, you won't be available for them.
I'll suffocate.
Yeah.
Mm.
So.
I know the journey's not easy, but I know the end will be good.
Yeah, so cut the crap and
Yeah. Just let me run. I want to wait. I like waiting.
So when you look in that crystal ball and you look and you see in the future, it has happened.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
The kids are happy.
Yeah.
Seeing me happy.
Yeah.
And how can you keep that image, that crystal ball image, in front of you? You got that, what you're calling the burden behind you, but you got that crystal ball in front of you.
I think it's having a good photo album and seeing one that I smile.
Huh?
And I went to look for one and I couldn't find one for the last 12 years.
Now you said you wanted some exercise. Now I know the exercise you need to do.
Yeah.
It involves the corners of your mouth.
Yeah.
Now those muscles need exercising.
Yeah.
You may need to stand in front of the mirror and actually practice smiling for a while. Do 12 smile-ups every morning before breakfast.
So to take the wrinkles away?
Yeah, the frown muscles have been over-exercised.
Yes.
And the smiling muscles have been under-exercised.
Yes.
You need a trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm serious about the smiling muscles, though. I'm kind of joking about it, but I'm also serious. I think that that's something for you to practice.
I have to see a photo of us, like in 12 months or 2 years, and we're all smiling. And if I can just keep that photo in my head.
Well, what about practicing those muscles now?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you pull up at the traffic lights, you can do a couple of aerobic exercises with the corners of your mouth.
Yeah.
Just let your forehead smooth out. That's it. Take a breath. Anytime the corners of your mouth go down, just whoop, up they go.
Yeah.
I think that's an exercise for you to get into.
Yeah.
And what's that breath? Relief?
Yeah.
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 Well, you've got some things to do now. You've got a future to live into.
Tired.
Well, you've been doing some exercises.
Busy day.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
And you can be tired, but you can look forward to that breeze.
Yeah.
When,
Satisfied.
yeah. Was it worth it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm so glad for you and for your kids.
Yeah.
And you're willing to have made this effort.
Yeah.
To get through that and be happy.
Yeah.
I think your kids deserve it. I think you want the best for them, and that's what they need. Yeah. And you could do that without a smack or being shaken. Just by learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. So, anything else that's there for today or for this experience?
I've just got to believe it and live it.
Yes, and you can just got to try to believe it, just like when you go up that mountain, just like when you walk inside. Just there's a bit of trust there, and you've got to believe it.
Yeah.
Top of that mountain might not be there this time, but you've got to believe it's there, and then the wind and the relief.
I think it's Kilimanjaro this time.
Okay. That's quite a
Yep.
A friend of mine climbed Kilimanjaro. He had to leave. They left the base at 2 a.m. I think.
Yeah.
It's quite a climb.
Yeah.
But he did it.
Yeah. I want to do that one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
So it might be useful for you to sit with this for a moment and really let yourself feel the relief that you have got that crystal ball in front of you, pulling you, that will get you through any difficulties, and you can already look forward to that relief. And the more exercises you can do with the corners of your mouth, the better it's going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you just sit with that, and I want to let you know how grateful I am for you trusting me with something like this. It's so important to you, and your future, and your kids' happiness. It's a gift that you've given me, so thank you for that.
It's okay.
And I think your dog can help to remind you of that too. They're great teachers, aren't they? They really know a lot, those creatures.
Yeah. So simple.
Yeah. Someone told me that they think the dogs are Buddhists.
Yeah.
They always live in the moment.
Yeah.
They have no doubts. Trust the future. They know they can do things. No matter how tired or whatever Zara is, you rattle the issue up. So how will you know when you've had enough of this? How will you know when you're ready to let your eyes open and get on with the rest of the day? And I think it's important for you to take your time about that. Not rush it. I don't want you to be too impatient. There you go.
I'm a mess.
You are?
I'm a
Yeah,
mess.
you're looking for tissues.
Yes, I am.
I hear that.
Thank you.